materials for our jogging shirts, and whether or not we train at altitude. All of this information helps us to perform, and we do it by trading it from one mind to another. And collectively, we as a society can find new models to achieve greater and greater performance. And that's what we're doing here in these conventions, is trying to find new models. As D. Biggs said, you got to steal from everybody. Okay? That's what I do as a futurist. You know, that if you steal from one person, it's plagiarism. If you steal from everybody, it's research. Right? Okay? So the problem is that any good futurist will say that very, very shortly we will break 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Any bad futurist will tell you that based on this plot, in 763 and 1/4 years, it will take 0 seconds to teleport from the beginning to the end. Right? And you know and I know that there are things that are going to get us off the straight line curve. And in fact, if you look for it, if you anticipate it, if you understand that there are things always trying to get you off the simple curve, then you will be looking for the nonlinear trend. And then if you were placing bets, you'd probably say it's going to be closer to 2020 that we will break the 3 minute and 40 second mile. But you have to look at the data and understand what else is influencing you, like biochemistry. Right? It's not just psychology anymore. So you have to be prepared to look for the curve and understand what kind of curve it is. In this case, it's an evanescent curve. We will not reach 0. Will we reach 3 minutes and 40 seconds? Yes. The line is somewhere below that pink line. It's somewhere far below, but it's going to take a while to get there. There are curves that are really hard for us to understand, particularly when they go exponential. Our brains are just not geared for rapid changes on changes on changes, which is what exponential curves do. And so a typical curve like that would be, for instance, the U.S. stock market. Now, it's got a lot of noise in it, and the problem is people are day trading, trying to predict where the whole curve is going over time, and they're reacting to the noise, and you see what kind of chaos that gives us. You don't want to react to every little wiggle. You need to spot the underlying long-term trends. And so the way we do that, we try to make it a straight line again. That's what your brain wants to do. And you can always spot a human being out in the wilderness because they're the ones leaving straight lines and building straight walls on their houses. No other animal builds straight-walled housing. Right? We do. We like straight lines, and so we'll try to force a straight line to it. And if you keep on believing that just stick in the stock market and you'll make money over time, well, yeah, but it may take a very long time because there are decades in there where you get on other lines. And even when you try to force a straight line, you have to be prepared that your simple model is not necessarily one equation that will finally linearize somewhere. You have to be looking for the big shifts and understand what kind of time you're working on. And I'm going to show you that the kinds of timescales that have changed society in the past are changing faster and faster now. So you have to be adept. And if you are not actively practicing change management, then I can tell you that you are actively practicing change mismanagement. Or even worse, you are practicing free drift. You have to be prepared to look for when the curve is changing. And so we'll explore some of those. The little green dot is just moving how much the last recession took us. So you get a sense that we're probably on some kind of long-term growth, but underpinning all this, the U.S. is no longer the #1 manufacturing country in the world. It is no longer the #1 creditor nation in the world. In fact, it is the #1 debtor nation in the world. And we've been exporting a lot of our manufacturing, and so the underlying growth principles on that curve may be taking us in a new direction. You all spot that. That's why you're in global businesses, right?